I feel like, though, we're going to get, I don't know. We're either going to get more effort because there's more games and then someone gets hurt, or we're going to get less effort in each game because no one wants to get hurt and it almost backfires. But I don't hate it, I guess, because we're trying something different, but I don't see it really working that well either.
I don't know. I mean, like I was telling Colin, it's almost like the NHL.
Okay, how does the NHL do it?
Well, it's 3 teams. Or 4 teams, excuse me. Same thing, 4 teams. They have, like, they did a draft and they picked players. Like, you had like McKinnon was a captain last year, and y'all picked your players, and then they went and played basically a quick round robin, and then the championship.
Okay, I mean, it'll be interesting to see for sure, especially how the teams shake out, and with what the Rising Stars team that wins that competition looks like too. Because if we get some really good player matchups, then that'll kind of help to an extent. Or if we get a fun, like, Jokic, Luka, Giannis, like a European basketball squad would be kind of fun. Maybe, but I don't know. Like, we had an issue with guys not trying hard enough with one game. So now you push it to a few games. Those first couple of games, you might see guys barely doing anything. And then maybe at the end, they'll put a little bit more effort into it because they're not trying to save their energy or whatever. But, like, it could end up being worse. But at the same time, like I said, I'd love to see that kind of team versus a team like LeBron, Steph, AD, something like that.
Well, and I mean, when you say that, so the thing I think with the other format was you also had so many players to rotate in and out and get on the court. So when you're playing with an 8-person, you have an 8-team squad. You got 8 guys. Okay. You're going to have some guys playing a lot more minutes in this. So, maybe it is a little bit more competitive because it feels a little bit more, I don't know, like, I don't want to say, back to the roots, where you're just, maybe gym basketball, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's more gym basketball where you're just basically running with your guys up and down the court. Some guys are not getting that much of a break. So, you're right. It is something. Who knows? Because these All-Star games are still a little crazy and boring, and they don't mean as much. But they're doing something, and I applaud them for that. I said we'll see how it works out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an All-Europe team if we get a Jokic or we get maybe Giannis as a captain. I don't know how they're
USA versus the world kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who they're going to decide, but maybe Shaq takes Jokic, and then Jokic just gets in Shaq's ear, and or Shaq doesn't care. Actually, this is what would happen. This is how it would happen. Charles Barkley takes Jokic. Charles Barkley doesn't give a crap about the game, and he just lets Jokic pick all of his friends to play with him. Like, that's how it's going to happen. Shaq's going to care too much about the game and winning and beating these guys.
I feel like
Barkley, unless he has some sort of bet on it, he's not going to care.
But Shaq loves Jokic. And Barkley, I feel like Barkley takes Luka, and then that happens maybe.
Yeah, but Luka's hurt, so I don't think he'll be playing. But that's what I'm saying. That's how it happens. Shaq cares too much. But the way you get an All-Europe team is by Charles Barkley taking a guy like Jokic and not caring, and just letting Jokic pick the squad. That's how you get it. Because I don't think Shaq would do an All-Europe squad. I think he would pick a good squad.
No, Shaq would pick all centers. He would just take Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Anthony Davis. He would just take the big man alliance as a squad.
He's definitely not taking Embiid.
Well, no.
He's ripped Embiid this season.
There's
no way Embiid is on his squad at all.
I'm not sure Embiid is an all-star, to be fair. But yeah, no, I could see Shaq just taking all the big guys and saying, fuck it. That would be kind of funny. But yeah, like, think of some fun dream 8-man squads. You got just everyone from LA. Like I said, Steph, LeBron, all those guys on a squad. And then, NBA Europe, you could do like the old heads versus the new heads, and you just put KD, Steph, LeBron together, and then you get the younger generation, I guess, Anthony Edwards and a bunch of the younger dudes. And then, you still have an NBA Jokic team, NBA Europe. That'd be kind of fun. So the captains are going to be the inside the NBA guys.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. And then Candace Parker. It's Shaq, Kenny, and Charles, but they left Ernie Johnson out of it.
Yeah, that's lame. I want Ernie's team. It'll just be nothing but fundamental basketball.
Right? Send it, and they'll probably win.
Right? Yeah, Ernie's team would. That's why they didn't let him in. They couldn't have Ernie Johnson fucking dominating the All-Star game.
Embiid, by the way, has 383,000 votes as of 4 days ago. He's 9th out of 10.
Okay, so
for the front court, that's not even. I mean, he's.
Well, but they don't do positions anymore. It's just.
It's voting, front court, right? And guards is how their voting is.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, because that's right. I'm thinking of All NBA. I'm not sorry. It's not the All Star. It's All NBA that does that. Then he probably doesn't get in. Then
Yeah, they don't do like the positions anymore, which was
just front and back. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. That's basically what the NBA is. A few guys play positions to an extent. Like Aaron Gordon is a power forward. Russell Westbrook is a point guard. But there's for every one of those guys, you've got, Zach LaVine. What the hell is he?
Not a Denver Nugget.
Exactly. Maybe next year, not this year. But that'll be fun to watch for sure. I don't know. I'm less interested in the All-Star game itself and how the Nuggets look going into the All-Star break, and then coming up before the trade deadline here in, I believe, a few weeks. It's like mid-February. It's usually around like Valentine's Day, if I remember correctly. So I'm not sure exactly what the deadline is, but that's going to be interesting to watch because I really would like to see some sort of bench move somewhere. I've seen rumors of guys from Portland. And you'll still see the mock trades of Michael Porter Jr. to every fucking team imaginable.
And it's February
8th. Okay, so not quite Valentine's Day. Damn, so that's coming up here. That's 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, well, basically 2 weeks away. Yeah, 2.5.
Ish, yeah.
It's always weird because then you have hockey and basketball that start at the same time, and then at the end of February is when the NHL trade deadline is. They're so far spread apart for whatever reason. I don't know. There are parts of me that wish that you would push that back a little bit more towards the end, because I think that I don't know. I like how the NHL, because you really do know where your contenders are, and in basketball, it feels like there's always that middle pack of teams every season that are right there. So I think you would get a few more explosive trades if you pushed it back a little bit further.
I think so. Some teams would. The whole apron thing has really made it harder to make a lot of these moves. So I feel like, as a symptom of the most recent bargaining agreement, that the NBA possibly does do that, because earlier it was helpful that some of those mid-tier teams were taking swings and potentially misses. But now I think you're right, Colin. I think that having that more decided will help.
Yeah, like I said, when it's this early and these teams are still in the mix, I think you're going to have a lot less swings and misses, or swings and hits, because teams are going to be a lot less. They're going to be a lot more reluctant to pull the trigger on a guy who might cost them over the next few years if they don't know for sure that they have that shot.
Yeah.
Because we saw plenty of teams who would pick up these guys. You're like, how the hell did he move at the trade? Like, what's this trade at the deadline? And it's just like, all right, well, they're going to try and make a push. Now I think teams are going to be like, well, we have to make a push, so we have to get the right guys.
Yeah, the Suns are going on 3 years in a row. First it was the Kevin Durant, and then it was Bradley Beal, and that might have been the offseason. But still, they're going on, being a big trade deadline candidate every year. And again, this year, they're looking to move off of Yusuf Nurkic. They're looking to move off of Bradley Beal. Potentially Kevin Durant or Devin Booker wants out, and they end up blowing up the whole fucking thing because they have no draft picks and no future. So they're going to have to trade one of those guys if they don't win a championship this year. And they do not look like they're going to win a championship this year. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch, man.
Ship them all out.
Yep, we're almost there. So we'll just keep your eyes peeled as we move to the Avs, who just lost to the Minnesota Wild. That was their chance too, because they had a chance to get back into the top 3 and move Minnesota down to the wild card. So they got those 2 points. They got one more at home before they hit the road. Go ahead, Colin.
I was just gonna say they were only separated by 1 point going into this game. So
yeah,
that's a tough one, especially after they tie it up and a great McKinnon goal to tie it up, and then head really into the third period with a chance, and nothing came about.
Yeah,
I also considered making a Minnesota wild card joke, but I didn't.
They were. I don't know. They've been just kind of bipolar lately. They get down on Tuesday, and I don't know what the hell that was on Tuesday. Then they have a comeback. Then they just dominate, and then today they just kind of just half-assed their way through the game. It felt like, and I don't know. It's just like at least pick a personality first. This way we can know how to be angry at you.
I'm not sure that Makar is totally healthy. He took a puck off his ankle in Saturday night's game, and then he even lost a blade in today's game, or Saturday. Oh, yeah, it was Saturday. I'm not totally sure, like I said, if he's fully healthy. And not that everyone's fully healthy. I think he's a little bit dinged up. And Casey Middlestat just came back. There's who hasn't had a great season at all, but the defense needs to, I think, stay there and keep that intensity. I thought some of what was turning around was the Edmonton game. I just sit here and I think that they're okay. Mm-hmm. I think teams are still giving the Avs their best shot.
Oh yeah,
it's not like they're the reigning champs, but they're still looked at as that top tier team. So they're getting teams' best shots night in, night out, no matter who they're playing, because everyone wants to beat the squad that everyone's talking about. And even though the Avs aren't the top team in the land, they're still getting talked about amongst all the NHL circles as being one of the top teams. So this feels like a little bit like they're biding their time, like get through it. I think Makar, maybe you need to sit him down for a game, a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, a game too. I'm not sure how long, but you just hopefully he can get fully healthy, because you don't want him at the end of a postseason series being like Landeskog at the end of the Stanley Cup run.
Yeah,
not being able to get to the bench.
Yeah, they play Wednesday. Are the Pat Benatar of the NHL. They're spending every game just go and hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
No.
They play Wednesday, and then
I'll be
they
there
have a day
Wednesday.
off to go to the East Coast. Of the East Coast, they have a back-to-back, Boston, then New York. So there's 3 games in 4 days right there. Maybe you pick one of those to rest Makar. I don't know. I mean, if you do it Wednesday, that's 3 days in a row before you hit the East Coast. But those,
he's not sitting
better with those
East Coast in Boston. He's not sitting in Boston.
No,
he went to college at UMass. Like, there's no way he's sitting in Boston, especially the defenseman. Boston is defenseman's holy grail.
Oh yeah.
So he's playing there. Maybe he sits in New York, but there's no way he's going to sit out that Boston game. Or it would be terrible game planning, because Makar is bound to have a great game in Boston, no matter how injured he is. He's got it. Actually, now that I think about that, I'm putting 2 goals on the board for him in Boston.
Uh-oh. Already here he goes. Yeah, I mean, well, and they kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball too to start the season with all. I mean, yeah, a lot of it was injury related, but they didn't start as hot as they should have too. So that also doesn't help a whole lot. But I mean, it is what it is. they're fighting their way out of it, and they're a wild card team right now. And the way they started, I'm content with it.
Honestly, it's just these little lapses. This is where you miss Gabe.
Yeah.
I mean, tonight they gave up 2 goals in the third period within the span of a minute and a half, basically. That's a leadership thing. And it's not that McKinnon or, Miko with the trade rumors, that could be an issue, but it's not that those guys don't have leadership qualities. It's you miss having Gabe out there because not that it won't happen when he's there, but I feel like it's a lot less likely.
He fixes it if he needs to, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, they got 3 games in 4 days coming up starting Wednesday, so they'll be heading to the East Coast. Until then, thanks everybody for tuning in. Subscribe, like. We don't care what you're watching from. Just make sure you watch and listen and share and subscribe and love us. And, we'll love you and hug you and squeeze you and call you George.
No matter
we
what
will not hug and squeeze you and call you George without your permission.
That's what he gets that in the victory formation now.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Let's play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta, wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin, just kind of winging it.
That's right. This is the victory formation where we make real bets with fake money, and we typically do well. At least some of us do. This week, one of us went 3-1.
Reigning champ.
One of us went 2-2, and one of us went 1-3. Let's get into it. First game we chose was the Texans versus the Chiefs. I thought the Texans had a chance, and they kind of did, besides all the interceptions. And the Chiefs ended up coming out victorious. Biggest odds of the week, or biggest favorite of the week. So the big win for Nick and Joe at 12-20 on that one. We move on to the Commanders versus the Lions. Well,
got that one wrong.
Nick decided to be the one who went against the grain, and he chose the Commanders, kind of like I felt like I wanted to do, but I didn't.
I thought you did.
No, Nick chose the Commanders. I did not reverse track like I did with Kansas and Iowa State, although I should have. And Nick with a big win of the week, $46 there, plus 360. Hopefully you put some real money on that one. I actually thought about it, and I didn't.
I forgot to.
Rams and Eagles. The Rams come out, or the Eagles come out victorious. The Rams, my Super Bowl pick, lost. Nick's the only one to get that one right also, meaning that he won $13.60 there. And the only one that I got right this week, Joe joined me in picking the Bills. Thank you, Nick, for not choosing the Bills because they would have lost that game.
You're welcome.
Me and Joe won $19.52 there, meaning for the week, I'm the big loser, minus $10.80. Joe in second, winning $11.72, and Nick, the big winner, $61.80, putting you over $100 at $101 or $102.63.
That's $1.
I am still in the positive at $13 or $12. Joe is at $35. Let's get into the picks for right around there. We're still in the positive. You can't lose. Well, actually, you can. No, you can't lose this week. Oh, you can. I lied.
Just like some people.
4 games before we pick the next one. One we had already picked: Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Joe and I already went with Ohio State. Nick chose Notre Dame. We move to the college hardwood tomorrow night, Tuesday. There is a top 25 matchup, a top 15 matchup. Mississippi State's heads out to Tennessee. Nick, who you got? 14 Tennessee State, 14 Mississippi State, number 6 Tennessee.
Give me the Vols.
Nick takes Tennessee. Joe, who you got?
Yeah, I feel like Tennessee might end up falling off more this year, but because they had like one big loss, I want to say, but I don't know enough yet, so we'll still stick with them. We'll take the Vols as well.
Joe is sticking with the favorite, and I'm going with Mississippi State. You kind of said it there. Tennessee typically has some sort of fall off. Usually it happens in March Madness, but they do have some stupid games each year. And I think Mississippi State plays a tougher brand of basketball than Tennessee does. So if Mississippi State can beat them up, they should win that game. Next, we move to the Heat versus the Bucks. This game is Wednesday night, I believe I had, but either way, it's the Heat versus the Bucks. Joe, who you got?
Man, the Bucks are a better team in every way, and I still just want to take the Heat for no real good reason. I'll stick with Milwaukee though. They're just good, and Miami's got Jimmy back, and he's playing to an extent, but it's not going to be. It's not the same.
Well, Joe, I always, what they say, that you should always go with your heart, and my heart said the Heat. So thank you for not taking them, because once you wavered, it solidified it. The Heat are playing much better basketball as of late, so give me the Heat in this game. Nick, who you got?
Give me Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. I see you guys. You're being smart, picking against the guy who went 1 for 3 this week. Don't go with the prophet. That's all right. I won plenty in real bets last night, just like the Derrick Henry plus money at halftime. Boom! Cash it. Last game we choose is the Capitals heading up to Edmonton to face the Oilers. Capitals coming off a game-winning. Well, they'll have another game before this. But Capitals just had Ovechkin hit a game winner the other night. Oilers obviously have been on a roll also. However, I am going to take the Capitals because I just don't want to see Edmonton win. And I don't like winning these bets. So
Smart.
Nick, who you got?
He froze. That's the
best. He did freeze. Oh, beautiful.
Freeze.
All right. Well, Joe, who you got? Well, we hope to see if he can come back.
I'm going to steal Nick's thunder, and I'm going to also take the Capitals. I'm taking OVO. I think it's going to be fun. And also, this is straight up, like you said, Colin, this is me betting on who I'm rooting for, not at all who I think is going to win.
I actually was not going to pick the Caps. I was going to pick the Oilers because they've been playing really dirty, especially Draisaitl as of late. And so, give me Edmonton because they're just playing dirty right now.
Well, see, that was the whole plan. That was to make Nick pick Edmonton because he doesn't want the Avs to move up in the standings. He hates the Avs. He
hates the Avs.
That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason why.
I've heard Nick say that. He hates the Avs multiple times.
Just need to get Draisaitl just punch in the face.
Well, those picks are out into space as we wrap this up, and we'll have the recap for you probably Friday or Saturday this week.
One of those days.
Yeah, Friday or Saturday. We will be back to talk about the Golden Domers and their national championship that they haven't won since 1988.
There's a piece of me that wants to bet on
isn't that against you
tonight, right now.
No? Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Thank you, Michael Spillin, and everybody over to e5280sports.com for hosting us. Thank you to Pikes Peak Sports Cards, our sponsor. Thank you to all of you that come out and listen to us and watch us, whether or not it's live or after we've recorded. We appreciate you. We love you. Share, subscribe, like, and remind everybody that we exist and we like talking sports. So
sharing is caring.
Thank you, everybody.
Jump in the chats. We are more than happy to have you joining the show as well. For Colin Zanker and Joe Goodwin, this has been Undrafted Uncensored. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time, go sports.
Bye, guys.
Love you.
Yeah,
and gals.
Play football. Come on, football. Go football.